You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Cabinets are very rare in my country. There are not a lot of options out there, and most of them, if I'm finding it, are like really old ones like Sega Rally, or we're finding something emulation related. And this machine is the new version emulation related with new features. But let's talk about the racing seat itself. When you're combining it, it's okay. It's not super comfortable. It's not comparable with, let's say, a play seat. The seat is on rails like with your car, so you can adjust it for people with different height. The overall quality is made of thick plastic. It would be very cool if you're putting in some speakers in it. The cushion on it is also quite hard, and when you're looking at the back, there is nothing in there. How cool would it be if you're going to have two huge speakers behind you? You can even make a surround set or something. This thing comes with a Logitech G29, a very unique thing, because when you're looking at most racing cabinets, they come with these Chinese racing wheels, but this one does come with a quality racing wheel, and I think it's pretty cool. The question remains, is this thing going to be any good when it comes to the overall performance? This new model comes with the Logitech original shifter, so also that is what we're going to try out. It's going to be cool with some games to try it. Nevertheless, when you're looking at the pedals, they put this on a fixed position here at the right. It has some mixed feelings about it. Over here with door number 1 at the front, we have the coin mechanism, so if you want to put it on coin operating, you can do that. Yeah, can learn what kind of coins you want to use it with. There having the 300 watt power supply, or at least it says 300 watt, but this thing gives a very nice punch and has all kinds of new features. Over here we're going to get two buttons, one for getting into the credits or starting the game, and at the right we can go back to the main menu. But let's take a close look at the back of the machine, what we're actually going to find. So first of all, they also come with a different kind of mainboard. They call this the driving board number 2, but what you're going to get is an HDMI monitor, because that is something you will be surprised they're still using DVI or VGA monitors. It comes with a quite basic power supply that will power on the PC itself. The exact specifications, I didn't really find it out, but there was something around like the Nvidia GT730 of a GPU, and the CPU, they are using these G Intel dual core one. So nevertheless, depending what kind of model, they are not super powerful. They are like kind of low spec in my opinion. What can we find more? Then we're having the JAMMA to USB encoder board, and of course the original JAMMA power supply. So that's basically what you're going to get in the inside. There's not a lot. Another cool feature is the display they're using. They're not using some weird old LCD display. They have an absolutely beautiful IPS panel on the inside. The brand is unknown because they're using sometimes some random stuff. But again, they look amazing and the viewing angle is great. The other thing is kind of weird. The D-pad doesn't respond to the main menu. They didn't fix it when you're looking at the previous model. And when you're moving the wheel to the left and the right, you can choose a game, but it is very sensitive. And over here, the bottom at the right. But the game list, it's similar to the previous one. Also like with the game families, it's kind of messy. And what I find a little bit of a bummer, where we have in Pandora's box, it had a beautiful menu. This is absolutely a lot of, let's say, messy, like missing text. I completely don't understand what they're doing over there. But when you're looking at the game list, it's a great overall game list with quite a lot of classics. From the old school 80s, 90s all the way up to the new modern systems like Sega Dreamcast. And I was quite surprised to see that. I did notice some Naomi games had some issue with booting up. For example, Crazy Taxi worked great, but I tried another one that didn't work at all. So also here it's absolutely one huge mess. So we have two kind of game lists. We got the console list and we're having the arcade list. That's something you need to take consideration. The console list contains a lot of games like PlayStation Portable, N64, but I wonder like why didn't they add the Ridge Racer main game, but they added the N64. And overall, while you're looking at the list, it's kind of messy and the game list can be so much better. But let's start off with an absolutely classic, and that is Crazy Taxi. Really, I did play it a lot on my Sega Dreamcast. It's such a fun game. But when it comes to this particular game, the racing wheel, you don't have really like massive feedback. You do feel the limit of the racing wheel when it comes to rotations, so it will have like the perfect experience. Also, it is quite sensitive, but not to the point that makes the game unplayable. I really needed to get used to the game and overall, so my gameplay sucks with this. But nevertheless, while you're looking at it, it was a lot of fun playing this classic one on the machine, and combining this with the Logitech G29 is absolutely awesome. Another game I wanted to check out is when it comes to Cruising the USA. They implemented the original arcade one. I personally never played the original arcade. I mostly played the N64 version. But another thing I want to check out, how is the gearbox? Will this actually work? And to my surprise, everything had been mapped correctly. So all of the 4 gears seem to be working. The strange thing is I need to get used to, maybe it's a little bit nitpicky, is that we're having a 6-gear shifter. What is kinda cool that a lot of classics like Daytona can be played on an emulation cabinet like this, but also what is cool that we can link it up with another machine. So if you just want to have the old school experience with 2 machines, you can even use this. But take consideration, it's not with every single game. I must say that most of the games, or better said the gameplay you're seeing, I just suck at it. I need to get used to the racing wheel, but when it comes to Daytona, it felt so natural. This game was a lot of fun to play, and the feedback of the force feedback of the racing wheel had a lot of nice feedback, so I had a very fun time playing this. Another game I wanted to try was the Sega Rally 2 game, because this is an absolutely newer version and I instantly noticed that the force feedback is absolutely perfect. This is spot on. Every single bump you can just feel it in the road. This is where the G29 from Logitech is going to be shining. And you're going to have a lot of fun playing. So I wish they added more of these, like say, modern games where you can just experience the force feedback as it should be. So where this new generation emulation racing simulator cabinets are pretty damn cool, one of the things that happened that my wheel was not center anymore because I went quickly out of the game when pressing the reset button. Nevertheless, we just rebooted it and we do like a completely reset and everything works just fine. There were like these minor things that was quite annoying. Unfortunately, also the indicator of the RPM didn't work on the racing wheel because none of the game we actually played was supporting this. So that's something you need to take consideration. A lot of new games, new features. Another thing I did notice with Initial D when I was trying to use the shifters, there's not a lot of space between the cabinet itself and the shifters. So sometimes I'm bumping against the cabinet itself. So it's not a bad thing, but yeah, those things, I did notice it. The shifter is pretty damn cool and it's kind of awesome that some of the games utilize it. It gives us a completely racing experience. You also should stop using this clunky old school menu. Just get something pretty cool like Pandora's boxes. 2 speakers only in the machine, but they sound kind of nice. We can adjust it quickly at the front. I did notice there were some sound level differences between the emulators, so you need to do that. The compartment is over here for your coins, so you can reach all of these things fairly easy. And in here there's still a couple of screws in here because of the topper, because there is a topper you can even put on top of the machine itself. It's kind of cool, to be honest. And overall, yeah, I was a little bit bummed that they fixed this. The pedals are fixed, you cannot move them, and it is not super convenient with maybe some of the games. It's a very cool complete solution for people who don't want to tinker, but I would like slap a mini PC in it to get it even working better.